Hello and welcome back to the Be Wild vlog. I hope you guys are doing well. I've set up a nice little lighting studio for myself in the kitchen so I can smoke my cigar. I'm quite lucky because my girlfriend doesn't mind me smoking in the house, providing I crack the door and I keep it in the kitchen. We have a bit of an agreement and that works well. So I'm very lucky. I know that a lot of men would be very glad, let's say, to be able to smoke inside the house. So I wanted to catch up on the last week, sort of reflect a little bit, and then maybe tell you a little story. I have a few stories that since I've started vlogging, they just keep coming onto my mind, and some things I just think are so much better told than untold. So got myself a drink, and I've got myself a Por Larananga Cuban cigar. I don't know if I can help you see that there, but yeah, you get the point. It's a Cuban cigar. It's a very small ring gauge cigar, very thin, but I'm estimating this is about 7 inches long. Yeah, I think I'm going to be in for quite a treat with this one. So, where have we been over the past week? Don't tell me I've left my lighter. Okay, I'll have another lighter. Yeah, in the last week, I've been vlogging pretty much every day. Um, I'm really pleased that this account is up over 5,000. This account is up over 50 subscribers. So thank you to every single person that has subscribed. Something interesting did happen though. So my I am Benji Wild YouTube page, which is the YouTube that I've used for years just to upload my music videos and different things. Um, I recently just I wasn't planning to grow that page. I was really planning to grow this page, but I started posting shorts. I would just get funny shorts and post them onto that page. And the reason that I got confused with the number just a minute ago is because when I logged into YouTube's studio app today, I thought I was on this page, but I was on my Benji Wild page. And somehow that page is on, it was already up to like 600 something subscribers, but now it's on over 800 subscribers. And from the short reels that I've posted, I've had around 500,000 plays. So I am pretty frustrated actually. I'm glad, but I'm frustrated because I was really hoping to do something with this page, and I'm still going to. I'm still making content for this page, but it's just ironic that the page that I've got no real focus with, the page that I'm not, directing the traffic to, has accidentally gone viral just because of some silly memes. But I suppose that's the nature of the internet. It's good. It's very spicy. A lot of spice to it. So yeah, we are. We are currently go lift off with my at I am Benji Wild page. It's great news. But let's stay focused with the task at hand, which is growing the Be Wild vlog. I've been thinking about content for the vlog and what kind of things do I want to talk about. I don't know if you have watched the video that I put out this morning. Well, it'll probably be yesterday now. Talking about my recent, my long overdue appointment with the doctor because of my current health situation. Which is ironic because I'm sat here drinking a beer, smoking a cigar, like nothing's going on, but that's the nature of men. But something that keeps coming into my mind is that I've got these stories from childhood, things that went on in my life as a kid and in my family, in out in my external family, and with people that I grew up with, and just things that just happened that I just would really like to shed some light on, not even shed light on. I just like to talk about them. I'd like to tell these stories and see how people take to them. One of the stories I'm going to discuss in the next week or two is that something that I've never really spoken about with anybody other than maybe my girlfriend and one or two of my very, very close friends is that the the man that raised me, who is not my father, but was the main masculine figure in my house and the man that I called dad. My relationship with him in this day and age is very complex. And the reason being, I don't know exactly what he's doing right now, but the reason being is that he is a transgender woman. And that had a profound impact on my childhood. And I'm going to save that for a video that I can give it proper thought and consideration before I start charging in and talking about it because it's a very sensitive topic in my family, and I know it's sensitive for people around the world who are going through similar things. But yeah, I have my own I have my own story to tell on that, and I'm going to share it on here in the coming days. So, what do I want to talk about today? I'm just going to make it quick. I'm going to make it fairly quick. When I was about 11 years old, I had two female friends that were a little older than me who lived near my grandparents' house. And I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. I would often go, take a walk with them across the district, across the area where we lived. We were just three peas in a pod, we were good friends. I became quite attached to them. They were like my best friends. We would call on for each other often. They were my really good friends. I'm obviously going to be real careful not to mention any names, and if I slip, I will certainly edit it out. I have no intention of embarrassing or offending anybody, but I do want to tell this story. So the one young girl who was my friend, she she lived with just her dad, and her dad was a very quiet man. I thought he was a very angry man, but maybe I just was mistaken and he was just a bit quiet. I know he was a hard working man at the time. I would often see him going off to work, and he was the sole provider for his household with his young daughter, and he was obviously doing the best that he could. This young girl never complained about her dad. She always told me that he was good. He loved her. He was a great dad. Then one day, me and the two of the girls are sat in the park, and this young girl, she's quiet, she's different, she's unhappy, something's not right. We're asking her what's wrong, what's going on, why are you so quiet, what's going on. So she tells us a story, and at the time this story, something was wrong about the story, but it didn't really sink in with me of how wrong this was for quite a few years until I had a conversation with somebody as an adult, and it took me back to being 11 years old and made me realize that I was witness to something horrendous. And I've lived with this for a long time because I always have this guilt of, could I have done something? Could I have helped? So I have to tell the story this way in order for it to make sense, because it's just the way that it is. So I have a cousin. When we were adults, we decided we hadn't seen each other for a while. She was in a relationship. She was living in Cardiff with her partner, and they said, "Come over to our place and hang out and just chill, smoke, those type things." I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." So gone over there, and she said to me, "You're so she's related. We're related through my grandmother who lived by this girl." She said, "Your nan, my auntie, she lives by a young girl called such and such, doesn't she?" And I said, "Yeah, that's my friend." And she said, "You know her?" And I said, "Yeah. Why? Why? What's wrong?" She's like, "I went to school with this girl." And I was like, "Right." And she said, "Do you not know what happened to her?" I said, "No, I don't know what happened to her." So she told me what she had experienced through going to school with this girl. And the story goes that she was taken out of school one day because she confided in one of her friends about a sexual crime that had been committed on her. And when my cousin told me these versions of events, I just went cold. I went pale. I froze. I just couldn't believe it. I knew this story. I knew about this incident before anybody else knew about this incident. So going back to when we were in the park, we're sat in the park and this girl is not herself. Something's amiss. And me and the third friend were asking, "What's wrong? What's gone on? Like, talk to us." And she's like, so my uncle, my dad's brother, he's come back from the army, and um, he's got to stay with us for a little while because he doesn't have anywhere to live." Okay. But me and him, um, we've been like doing things. And that's, at the time, it doesn't really make sense to me. Like, I'm like, "Why? What do you mean you've been doing things?" And she went on to tell us this story that one night hold on. She went on to tell us that one night, while her uncle, who's back from the military, is staying on the sofa in the house that she lives in with her dad, she came down to the kitchen to get a glass of water, and he said, "Oh, come and sit with me. I haven't seen you for a long time," and whatnot. I'm not going to go into the details because it's disgusting, and nobody needs to hear that. And I would dread to think that she would ever see this video and have to relive that. But then again, me telling her story is probably bad enough. But anyway, so she said that her and her uncle, her dad's brother, were doing things sexually that he'd encouraged, and that she had feelings for him. He was her first time, and she thought that that was normal. And she said to us, "Don't tell anybody. It's a secret between me and him and you, and you can't tell anybody because I'll get in trouble." And this is the part of the story that breaks my heart. I was 11 years old. She was probably 13. Yeah, she was probably 13. And I just thought that was normal. I just thought, okay, I'll keep this secret, mind my business. Then my cousin's version of events goes that this girl was in school one day and had told one of her friends. Her friends had gone home and told their parents what they'd heard. They reported it to the police, and the relevant action was taken. The uncle was exposed and arrested. I'm not sure that maybe even the dad didn't get to him, which it is what it is. So yeah, it's a very sad story, and I've lived with this guilt for years because I just feel like was in my position to do something. If if I'd have known the the harm and the reality of what had gone on, of course I would have reported it to somebody. But at that age, I just didn't know. I didn't know the extent of how bad what she was telling me was. So in a way, I want to tell this story to free myself from the guilt because I know there was nothing that I could have done, but also to remind myself that children growing up go through phases where she thought that she was in love with that man. He'd abused her, he'd exploited her, he'd taken advantage of her, and she was made to think that was normal, and she tried to make us think that was normal, and she begged us to keep it as a big secret. And I really wish that I didn't. That is the end of the story. There's not much else to say on it, except for my heart really goes out to that girl. Um, I dread to think how much she suffered in life afterwards because of that. Mentally, emotionally, I can't even begin to imagine how tough that must have been. But to end on a positive note, I I still see that girl on Facebook. I still have her as a friend on my Facebook. I see that she has her own children, and she's a proud mum, and she works very hard to protect her own children and make sure that they have a life that isn't tarnished by things that like what happened to her. And I respect her greatly. I respect her courage, and I wish her all the best in the future. And with that being said, thank you for listening. Please subscribe, please like, and we'll speak again. Peace. Love you.